Fear often enters quietly, without warning, yet its impact is powerful and far-reaching. It does not always appear as panic or visible distress. Sometimes it hides beneath hesitation, doubt, and this silent presence slowly erodes confidence, making even simple decisions feel overwhelming. People begin to question their abilities, not because they lack skill, but because fear distorts perception. It convinces the mind that failure is near and success is distant. Over time, this belief becomes stronger, shaping behavior and limiting growth. Understanding fear as a silent enemy is essential, because what remains unseen often causes the deepest damage to confidence and self-belief. Fear gives rise to doubt, and doubt weakens confidence at its core. When fear takes hold, the mind begins to generate questions filled with uncertainty. Am I good enough? What if primera fail? What will others think? These thoughts repeat and grow, forming a cycle that becomes difficult to break. Doubt shifts focus away from strengths and places it on imagined weaknesses. Even past successes begin to feel irrelevant. This internal dialogue shapes how a person sees themselves. Breaking this cycle requires awareness, because doubt is not always truth. It is often fear speaking in a convincing voice that sounds real but limits potential. Fear magnifies the idea of failure, turning it into something far more threatening than it truly is. The mind begins to imagine worst-case scenarios, often unrealistic and exaggerated. This illusion creates paralysis, stopping action before it even begins. Confidence cannot grow without action, yet fear blocks the very steps needed for progress. In reality, failure is not the end. It is part of learning and growth. When fear controls perception, failure feels permanent and personal. Understanding that failure is temporary and valuable helps reduce its power. This shift allows confidence to rebuild, grounded in experience rather than avoidance. Fear is not only a mental experience, it affects the body in noticeable ways. Heart rate increases, muscles tighten, and breathing becomes shallow. These physical reactions signal danger, even when no real threat exists. The body prepares for survival, while the mind struggles to stay calm. This connection between body and mind reinforces fear, making it feel more real and immediate. Learning to calm the body through slow breathing and relaxation techniques helps reduce fear's intensity. When the body relaxes, the mind follows. This balance is essential for restoring confidence and maintaining control in challenging situations. One of the strongest effects of fear is avoidance. When something feels uncomfortable or uncertain, the natural response is to step back. While this may provide temporary relief, it strengthens fear over time. Each avoided situation sends a message to the brain that the fear was justified. Confidence weakens because opportunities for growth are missed. Avoidance creates a cycle where fear grows stronger and confidence grows smaller. Breaking this pattern requires facing challenges gradually. Each small step forward weakens fear and rebuilds confidence, proving that discomfort can be handled and growth is possible. Imagination is a powerful tool, but when guided by fear, it becomes a source of anxiety. The mind creates vivid images of negative outcomes, often without evidence. These imagined scenarios feel real, influencing emotions and decisions. Fear uses imagination to expand its reach, making small risks seem enormous. Confidence struggles to exist in a mind filled with negative possibilities. Redirecting imagination toward positive or realistic outcomes can shift this balance. When the mind begins to visualize success instead of failure, confidence gains strength. This change does not ignore risks. It places them in a healthier and more manageable perspective. Inner dialogue plays a crucial role in shaping confidence. Fear often speaks through a critical inner voice that highlights flaws and minimizes strengths. This voice can become so familiar that it feels like truth. It repeats messages of limitation, creating a belief system that holds confidence back. Challenging this voice is essential for growth. Replacing negative thoughts with balanced and supportive ones changes how the mind operates. Over time, the inner voice becomes an ally rather than an obstacle. This transformation strengthens confidence, allowing individuals to trust themselves and their abilities more fully. Fear of judgment is one of the most common reasons confidence declines. The thought of being evaluated or criticized by others creates pressure and self-doubt. People begin to act cautiously, trying to avoid mistakes or disapproval. This focus on external opinions shifts attention away from personal growth. Confidence weakens because actions are no longer guided by self-belief, but by fear of others' reactions. Understanding that judgment is often temporary and subjective reduces its power. When individuals focus on their own values rather than external approval, confidence begins to grow stronger and more stable. Fear-driven behavior often becomes a pattern that repeats over time. Without awareness, this pattern continues, reinforcing itself with each experience. Breaking it requires conscious effort and willingness to change. Small actions, such as speaking up, trying something new, or facing discomfort, begin to disrupt the cycle. Each step creates a new experience, showing the mind that fear does not always lead to negative outcomes. This process builds evidence that confidence can grow through action. Over time, the old pattern weakens, replaced by one that supports courage, resilience, and self-belief. Confidence is not something that appears instantly. It is built through repeated effort and experience. Facing fear, even in small ways, strengthens inner resilience. Each challenge overcome becomes proof of capability. This evidence builds a foundation of trust in oneself. Inner strength grows when individuals act despite fear, not in its absence. This approach transforms fear from a barrier into a stepping stone. Over time, confidence becomes more stable and less dependent on external conditions. It becomes an internal resource, allowing individuals to face uncertainty with calmness, courage, and a strong sense of self-belief. Fear often feeds overthinking, creating a loop where the mind analyzes every possibility again and again. This constant thinking does not lead to clarity. It leads to confusion and hesitation. Confidence fades when decisions feel impossible to make. The mind searches for perfect answers, but perfection rarely exists. Overthinking delays action, and without action, confidence cannot grow. Learning to simplify decisions and trust initial instincts helps break this trap. Taking small steps forward, even without complete certainty, builds momentum. Over time, action replaces endless thinking, allowing confidence to return as the mind learns that progress matters more than perfection. Rejection is one of the deepest fears that affects confidence. The idea of being dismissed or not accepted can feel personal and painful. Fear magnifies this experience, making rejection seem like a reflection of worth rather than a normal part of life. This belief holds people back from opportunities, connections, and growth. Confidence weakens when avoidance becomes the response. Understanding that rejection is often situational, not personal, reduces its emotional weight. Each experience of rejection can teach resilience. When faced with courage, rejection loses its power, allowing confidence to rebuild stronger than before. Fear encourages comparison, leading individuals to measure themselves against others. This habit creates a constant sense of inadequacy, as there will always be someone more skilled or successful. Confidence suffers because focus shifts away from personal progress. Comparison ignores individual journeys and unique strengths. Fear uses this habit to reinforce doubt and insecurity. Breaking free requires shifting attention inward, recognizing personal growth and achievements. When individuals value their own path, confidence begins to stabilize. This mindset replaces competition with self-improvement, creating a healthier and more sustainable sense of confidence. When fear dominates, it can disconnect individuals from their true identity. Decisions begin to reflect avoidance rather than authenticity. People may stop expressing their ideas, interests, or personality, choosing safety over honesty. This loss of self weakens confidence because it removes the foundation of self-trust. Confidence grows when actions align with personal values. Reconnecting with identity requires reflection and courage. By embracing who they truly are, individuals rebuild confidence from within. This authenticity creates a strong sense of direction, reducing fear's influence and allowing genuine confidence to emerge. Past experiences shape how fear operates. In the present, negative events, failures, or criticism can leave lasting impressions. These memories influence expectations, making future situations feel risky or uncertain. Fear uses these past experiences to predict negative outcomes, even when circumstances have changed. Confidence weakens when the past defines the present. Healing comes from recognizing that past events do not determine future possibilities. By creating new experiences, individuals can rewrite these patterns. Each positive step forward reduces the weight of the past, allowing confidence to grow in the present moment. Confidence is deeply connected to self-trust. Fear disrupts this trust by creating doubt and hesitation. When individuals stop trusting their decisions, they rely on external validation, which is often inconsistent. Rebuilding self-trust requires taking responsibility for choices and accepting outcomes. Even mistakes become valuable when viewed as learning experiences. Each decision made with awareness strengthens trust in oneself. Over time, this trust becomes a stable foundation for confidence. When individuals believe in their ability to handle challenges, fear loses its control, and confidence becomes more consistent and reliable. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite it. Confidence grows through action, not waiting for fear to disappear. Each step taken in the presence of fear weakens its influence. Action creates evidence that challenges can be faced and managed. This evidence builds belief in personal ability. Courage does not require perfection. It requires willingness. Even small actions can create meaningful change. Over time, repeated acts of courage reshape the mind, replacing fear-driven hesitation with confident movement toward goals and opportunities. Discipline plays a key role in overcoming fear and building confidence. While motivation may come and go, discipline creates consistency. Acting regularly, even when fear is present, strengthens emotional control. Discipline trains the mind to focus on goals rather than feelings. This shift reduces the power of fear, as actions continue regardless of emotional resistance. Over time, discipline builds resilience and stability. Confidence grows when individuals see themselves following through on commitments. This reliability creates a strong sense of self-belief, making it easier to face challenges without being overwhelmed by fear. Changing how you view fear can transform its impact. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, it can be seen as a signal for growth. Fear often appears when something meaningful is at stake. This perspective reduces its negativity and creates curiosity. Rather than avoiding fear, individuals begin to explore it. This shift changes the emotional response, making fear less intimidating. Confidence grows when challenges are approached with openness rather than resistance. Over time, fear becomes a guide rather than an obstacle, leading toward opportunities for development and self-improvement. Rebuilding confidence requires consistent effort and a willingness to face fear directly. It is a gradual process that involves awareness, action, and patience. Each moment of courage, each decision to move forward, strengthens self-belief. Confidence is not fixed. It evolves through experience. By understanding fear and refusing to let it control behavior, individuals take back their power. This journey leads to greater clarity, resilience, and inner strength. Over time, confidence becomes stable and self-driven, allowing individuals to pursue goals with determination and a deep sense of trust in themselves. Fear is a natural human emotion, but when it is left unchecked, it gradually erodes confidence and limits personal growth. It distorts thinking, creates doubt, and encourages avoidance, making challenges appear larger than they truly are. However, fear is not something that must be removed. It is something that can be understood and managed. By recognizing triggers, calming the mind and body, and challenging negative thoughts, its influence can be reduced. Confidence grows through consistent action, self-trust, and the willingness to move forward despite uncertainty. Each small step weakens fear and strengthens belief in oneself. Over time, this process builds resilience and clarity, allowing individuals to respond with courage instead of hesitation. When fear is guided rather than feared, it loses its control, and confidence becomes stronger, more stable, and deeply rooted in experience and self-belief.